Okay, hello. Hi.
Hello.
There's Christy. I'm Jake. What's up, everybody? What up, chat? Welcome in. Let me get my levels straight here. It's Magic Game Day once again. We're here at Kia Center up here on the radio deck. We're getting set for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the red-hot Orlando Magic, winners of 4 straight, 10 of their last 14, coming off a very encouraging and somewhat dominant weekend on the NBA road. You went into Minnesota and beat a really good team on Saturday afternoon, and then I was a little nervous on Sunday as we headed into Milwaukee, a Milwaukee team that didn't have Giannis, and it just felt like a trap game, to be sure, with Cleveland waiting for us a couple days off. And you took care of business against the Giannis-less Milwaukee Bucks. And so all of a sudden, you look, the last 14 games, you've won 10 of the last 14. Your defensive rating is tops in the league over that span. Got some not great news, I guess, yesterday. Found out Anthony Black is going to miss, some extended time with an abdominal injury. But we had a sense that it was going to be extended time, period, or at the very least a handful of games. So hopefully it won't be too many for him. Franz continues to be out. That wasn't really an update. It was just sort of status quo. But the Magic are playing very well right now, and this is absolutely a measuring stick game against his Cavaliers team, a Cavs team that kind of smacked you around last time we saw them, both here and then the very next game 2 days later up in Cleveland. This is a different-looking group, obviously. They then went and made a trade for James Harden. Tonight they won't have Jarrett Allen, their big man, but still playing pretty good basketball, the Cavaliers are, and they're putting it together, getting ready for what they hope will be a deep run in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So a lot to play for tonight. You can sort of anticipate and feel the buzz here in the building. A national broadcast at 7:30 start, so we're a half hour delayed. I went and operated all day long as if it was going to be a 7 o'clock tip. Thankfully, I got to the arena, and you were like, no, we got an extra half hour to prep. So we're here. We're ready to go. By the way, programming note, our broadcast tonight will be on FM 104.5, The Beat here in Central Florida. You can always stream us if you're having trouble finding us on terrestrial radio, or if you realize that it's 2026, you can always stream us on your on the iHeartRadio app, on the Orlando Magic app, or you can find us on Sirius XM or on NBA League Pass audio. Hello, Chrissy. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm looking at some of the comments already, some stuff rolling in on YouTube and TikTok, just talking about how big this game is tonight because you mentioned it. This team is rolling coming back home. Those 2 wins in the Midwest. You had the 2 wins at home before that, a really close one against Dallas, a blowout against Washington, and then those 2 really strong wins against Minnesota and Milwaukee. So Kyle Gaming saying that tonight's a litmus test. I saw somebody, The Spice, on TikTok saying you got to get this win today. And I think that's the thing. You've had all these different types of wins, teams that haven't been up and down maybe a little bit after the All-Star break, but this is a team in Cleveland that is pretty high in the standings. I think they're 4th, I think, the last time I checked up there. Obviously fighting for their playoff position as well as the Magic are, and this is going to be a good game. This should be fun.
Yeah, Cavs got a win last night, so you come into tonight. They are on the 4 seed, as you mentioned. The Magic right now in the 7 seed after Miami wins in convincing fashion, let's just say, last night against the Washington Wizards. So Miami's a half game clear of you. We'll see those guys this Saturday. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We've already smacked them around 4 times this year. So we've already won that season series, to be sure. But with that said, that's shaping up to be a massive game as well. We get Washington tomorrow. That's a gotta-have game, to be sure. But you're coming down the stretch here. 19 games remaining and 2 more against these Cavaliers. So right now you're 4 games behind the Cavs for the 4 seed. That would mean home court advantage, which about 3 weeks ago felt so far off. But that's how jumbled up everything's been in the Eastern Conference. You put together a couple good weeks of basketball. You got yourself now 7 games above 500, and all of those goals that you had at the beginning of the season are pretty much still within striking distance. You win this game tonight, and then all of a sudden it's a 2-1 season series with Cleveland. It puts massive implications on the matchup up in Cleveland. I don't have the date in my head right now, but it's a couple weeks from now. It is somewhere in the 20s, I believe, in Cleveland. The 24th, Tuesday the 24th in Cleveland. Thank you very much. That was good. That was good work right there. She's quick on the trigger.
Try my best.
That was timely. And so it's a huge game. And I'll say this, because you've been playing well as of late, I just want to see us play well tonight. The Cavs have pretty decisively beaten us in the previous two meetings. It was a 14-point and a 16-point win. That was at the end of January into the beginning of February. This feels like a completely different team right now, even though the principles are obviously still the same. You didn't have Franz Wagner then. You still don't have him. Yeah, you had Anthony Black in those games, but the Magic have figured something out over the course of the last 14 games, which really wraps around the All-Star break. Kind of heading into the All-Star break, I think you started to feel like you were trending in the right direction. One of the things that we've talked so much defensively about what has been right with this team, and we've talked all year, Chrissy, about how the defense needs to sort of feed the offense. I think you're figuring things out offensively right now as well. Obviously, we've talked even last week about what Paolo and Desmond Bane are doing, averaging 50 points combined, north of 50 points combined since the All-Star break. They've been two of the most efficient players in the league. And so I think right now, yeah, your defense is feeding your offense, but even if you look over the last 14 games, you're 10th in true shooting percentage, you're 6th in assist percentage. Over the last 12 games, you're actually top 10 in three-point percentage. This Magic group. And so I think offensively, you're working with a lot more. You're operating within the half court. You're getting contributions from a lot of different guys. Yes, the defense is always fueling just about everything positive that happens with us, and that's been the biggest thing that needed to switch and did. But right now, I think you're forging an identity offensively as well.
I think so, yeah. And you mentioned the three-point shooting. That was something I actually keyed in when I was doing my prep, because for the first time this season, at least through this last stretch since the All-Star break, we're average. And that's good for this team.
Right.
That's very good for this team. That hasn't been over 24th in the league since 2018, 2019. So over those last couple of games, 14th right now in the league. They're 24th right now. And we've talked about that ad nauseum, just like how good their record is. The last I checked, 21-7 when they're shooting better than 34.5%, which is that bottom third number.
Yep.
And if they keep continuing to do that, that's a really good sign. But yeah, you mentioned the defense has been fueling everything for this team. Number one in defensive rating. They've just been doing a really good job of getting those stops, getting out and running, and then spacing the floor too. That was a bit of an issue with this Cleveland team in those two games. I remember they were getting good looks, they just weren't able to convert.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what the Cavs do. And as you sort of lay out what it's going to look like here tonight, it's funny because James Harden is so good that he is sort of his own system, as he once famously said, I am the system. But he's also, because he's his own system, hasn't really impacted negatively what Cleveland does. Like,
right.
They just kind of threw him alongside Donovan Mitchell, and I think he, to his credit, has said, I'm going to do my thing, but I'm also not going to negatively impact and take the ball out of Donovan Mitchell's hand. So, does James Harden help you defensively? Will he eventually break down or come up short in the postseason? Those are all answers that remain to be seen. No, he doesn't necessarily help you defensively. That's not his calling card, but they're a pretty solid defensive team anyways. They were covering for Darius Garland and other various players beforehand, and so certainly I think they're good enough defensively to cover for whatever shortcomings they may have, and that includes Donovan Mitchell as well. Never going to be confused for a stopper backcourt. But those two guys are alpha dogs with the ball in their hands. Harden's been really good just sort of fitting in, and we just don't have any answers for Donovan Mitchell. Now, that's not to say that teams across the league necessarily do, but the guy is averaging over 40 points per game in the two previous meetings against us, and he's been efficient as well. He's a combined 30 of 55 from the field. Granted, these are the first two games of the season, and they both happened in short order, and so he was red hot then, and we weren't playing our best basketball at that point.
Right.
But the guy is averaging over 40 a game against us this season on over 54% shooting. An MVP candidate, to be sure. The numbers sort of pop off the screen at you. He can pull up from three. He is top three in the league in transition points. The big thing to me when it comes to Donovan Mitchell, he's going to get his. You can't have him have like a double-digit assist night, get his teammates going. And the free throws are the big thing. And it's not just Donovan Mitchell getting to the rack and, creating contact. It's those pump fakes. It's fouling him on jump shots, on long twos, and specifically on threes. If you get off your feet, if you close out while without being under control, as we get some tone from the radio room. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. If you aren't smart about defending Donovan Mitchell, then he's going to pump fake you, get you off your feet, and get to the free throw line double-digit times tonight. And that is a perfect way to hand him 40 points. We got to keep him off the free throw line tonight. And ideally, you're able to figure out some ways to get the ball out of his hands without his assist numbers jumping. If somebody else beats us, fine. Like, I understand that. And I think you're going to see a lot of traps in different ways to get the ball out of Mitchell's hands. But what what you can't have is where he gets 35, then he has 12 assists as well, and you can't have it be a slow march to the free throw line with that guy.
Yeah, think about what the players were saying during shoot-around today, and I'm going to open up the quote book a little bit
The
early
quote book,
for this
Chrissy's
one.
quote book.
Just when they were talking about defense, yes, Donovan Mitchell had 36 and 45, but a lot of that focus was on James Harden, too, coming into this game because James Harden wasn't here the last time that they played Cleveland twice, and it adds a whole other dynamic to this offense. So they were talking about trying to slow him down, defending without fouling. Jaylen Suggs mentioned Dennis Schroeder as well, the backup point guard, and if he comes in, what kind of impact that he's going to make. So there's a lot of focus on that. They know that Donovan Mitchell is going to get going, but they have to be able to defend everybody else on the court as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's the center of their universe, obviously, but that's why they brought Harden, so that when you are doubling the ball out of his hands or paying too much attention to number 45, the number 1 is going to get you. And then you mentioned Dennis Schroeder. I think Jalen Tyson, Sam Merrill, other guys you absolutely have to look out for offensively. The Cavs will light you up from three-point range, and those guys will as well. Jalen Tyson, Sam Merrill, they are 3rd and 4th in the league in three-point shooting. Both of those guys well over like 44%. Merrill's at 44.6, and then Tyson is 3rd, 45.7%, and he's 5 of 8 this season against us, Jaylen Tyson. He sort of emerged this year. I thought Kobe Altman, the Cavs president of basketball operations, did a great job at the trade deadline. He turned DeAndre Hunter into 2 serviceable players with that deal for Sacramento. I've never been able to figure out what the Kings are doing. I was happy for my dad, who's a Cavs fan, when that move went down. Frustrated for everybody else in the Eastern Conference because I think those guys could really help them in the postseason. I love Keon Ellis. He is a dogged defender. And then Dennis Schroeder is a guy who always rises to big moments. You mentioned against us, 41% career three-point shooter against the Magic. As you take a look there at the conference standings, Cavaliers sitting 4th in the Eastern Conference. They're 15 games clear of 500. We're 4 games behind those guys as of right now, or excuse me, 3.5. But the bottom line is as you take a look, the Magic have 2 matchups still remaining against his Cavaliers team. And so you could close a whole lot of distance and potentially, send the tiebreaker if you're able to win the next 2, if you finish with the same record against these guys into division and conference record. And so the head-to-head season series with all of these teams, very important. We still get 2 more cracks against the Cavaliers, and if you're able to figure out a way to draw even in those 2 final games, and that would make a big difference when it comes down to conference standings times. And it is not too early to be looking at all of this stuff. Head-to-head matchup, season series, and all those tiebreakers weighing very heavily. I don't expect the players to understand all of that. I want them to go a day at a time. But for people like you and I, we can crunch all the different possibilities as we take a look here at the standings.
Yeah, and you got to look at the numbers in front of you, the teams in front of you, and then the ones behind you as well, because you think about, even though you're half a game back from Miami right now, you get the win here against Cleveland, you'll jump them, and possibly Cleveland too. You're half game back from Toronto, 4 games back from Cleveland, but the other teams that are in that play-in, Philadelphia has been on a little bit of a downward spiral the last couple of weeks, but Atlanta, Charlotte, they have been playing really well lately.
Our division's the hottest division in the NBA. Yeah. It's crazy. 4 out of 5. The Washington's really screwing up our average. But everybody else is like on a torrid streak right now. The Hornets have won 7 of 10. Atlanta's won 7 in a row and 8 of 10. And then Miami has won 6 straight, might be the hottest team in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, everybody, at the very least in the Southeast Division, surging at the right time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that you have to be able to – you want to look at those teams in front of you, how much you can get up in those standings. You have to keep winning, but you have to keep winning too, because these teams behind you are playing so well down the stretch that they could catch up very easily. And we played Charlotte a few times this season. They had us the one time. Those matchups will be important. We get Atlanta on Monday. That's a big matchup as well. But you got to be able to take care of home. You got to be able to take care of tonight. Before you even think about that stuff, you hear what the players were saying throughout that road trip, even before. One day at a time, one game at a time, and go from there.
Let me just say this, because my buddy Will Dawson said some are saying tonight is an inflection point of the season. Our thoughts. I was really nervous about Sunday in Milwaukee because Saturday in Minnesota was the win of the season. Sunday in Milwaukee, I'm going, if we lose this game with no Giannis, it's going to dash all of our momentum.
Right.
I think that was a very professional win. I think I think what you've seen the last couple weeks is not an aberration. We can have faith in that. I just want you to play and give these guys a better fight than we saw at the end of January. That's not a loser mentality. I just don't need to win this game to not. Put it this way. Losing this game is not going to make me think the last 2 weeks have been for naught and we're back to square one. I think we're seeing, with a large enough sample size, that we're building in the right direction. We're playing better basketball. I want to see you play good basketball tonight, and you're playing a good team. And yes, if Donnie gets 45 and Harden hits a couple big threes or whatever, then so be it. Let the chips fall where they may. Defend like you're capable of and show them a little bit more resistance than you did at the end of January, and I'll be happy. I think you can look into what you've seen the last couple weeks and trust that the team's headed in the right direction.
And then on the other side, if they do win this game, you think about how much that's going to do. It's almost a little bit of a win-win so long as they either keep it really close or come away with the win. But they're coming into this riding 4 straight wins, which is their longest winning streak of the season. They've been playing really well on both sides of the ball that you mentioned. Desmond Bane, Banchero is getting going, and that's without Franz Wagner. That's without Anthony Black, who's been out for the last couple of games with that back strain. You're getting Jace Richardson and J.I. We'll see how much they play off of the bench tonight. But it feels like everything is clicking at the right time, and that was something that I feel like back in January we were saying, hold your horses, this team is not out of it yet. Things are going to come around, and it feels like it's starting to. I wouldn't say this is an inflection point. I like the litmus test to see where this team is at this point in the season against a strong team that there's a good chance you'll see him in the playoffs. That's what Jaylen Suggs said, that this is a good chance that you could see, okay, where do you stack up as you head into those final 19 games of the season as well as postseason?
Yeah, it would very much within the realm of possibility, obviously, to finish 4-5. The Knicks sitting in the 3 seed are just a half game clear of Cleveland. So certainly I think Boston is separating. They and the Pistons will probably snatch the top 2 seeds, but it feels like from 3 on down to 10, still a whole lot of movement that is possible with all of these teams. And so the Magic need to try to put one foot in front of the other and build on what we've seen the last couple nights, to be sure. Cavaliers coming in, playing good basketball. Don't have Jarrett Allen. That is a big loss along the front line, so they will go a little bit smaller tonight. I think rebounding could be a big key. And as we talked about, like defensively, the team's been it's been Magic basketball. It's been that Swamp Thing defense. You're bogging down offenses, and you're crawling into the ball. And I think, going back to January when we were having those conversations about sort of settling in, holding your horses, as you said, it just feels like a very Wisconsin.
Coach, we've seen the work that Shams put in with a number of the players on your team. What have you seen out of him as a member of your staff, and what has his addition meant to this group?
No, I've known Sham for years. We were together in Dallas, but even before then, when he was at Providence, I ended up taking my recruiting visit there, and he was one of the players. But Sham's been incredible for this group, for the connection that he has with the players. But more than anything, he's unbelievable with the X's and O's, knowing how to make the adjustments, talking to players at the right time, getting them settled down, and just being able to understand what their needs are, but also being able to apply it to the game. I think, I know there's a lot of talk about him being up for the Providence job. You don't want to lose a guy like that, but his ability to connect, his ability to put plays together, the X's and O's side of the game, he's been tremendous for us, and I know there's a reason why he's here.
Jason, Jonathan are back. Just on the first night of a back-to-back, to have that depth, how important is that for you?
Oh, it definitely helps. It definitely helps to have more bodies as we continue to hit the back-to-backs this month.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. You've seen plenty of James Harden in your coaching career, and this is a new-look Cavs team with him as one of the heads of the snake. What does it take to stop James as not just the shooter but the facilitator?
Yeah, I mean, you're not stopping a guy like that. There's a reason why he is where he is on the all-time scoring list and even the assist list, because he knows how to take the game apart. You're up too high, he's going by you. You're back too far, he's shooting it. Then in that middle ground, he finds the pocket for the big, and then he sprays out. They've got shooters, all around them. So mixing up the defenses, and there's nothing he hasn't seen. So we've just got to be physical with him, but be smart about it, because he does do a great job drawing fouls. All those pieces are going to be necessary. But guys like that, you're not going to necessarily stop what they do. You've just got to make them keep guessing, throughout the game.
Coach, how would you describe Powell's mindset ever since returning back from All-Star break and just how he's approaching the game from that first half of the year to now?
Yeah, I mean, I think after, post All-Star break, he's been, just dynamic in his ability to get downhill, attack the basket, quick decisions. I think one of my coaches just, sent some stuff over what he's been able to do, since the break. And he's in a class of only about 5 other people. And I think that says a lot about his transition of being able to just lock in and focus it to a higher level. And I say this, so cleanly, like he's done an unbelievable job of taking on every defensive challenge since the break. And he's wanted to guard any matchup that is the guy on the other team. He's taken that on, and that just changes our team and our dynamic and takes it to a different level.
Jamal, speaking of defense, you guys have played better defensively lately, it seems. But for much of the year, you've kind of treaded below where I think most people expected you guys to be defensively. I'm curious what you think you're doing better lately, if anything, if it's just shooting luck or whatever else, and where you think you guys can go from here on that end.
I mean, I think since All-Star break, we're ranked around number 2. And I just think our ability to keep locking into the game plan, level of consistency with who's on the floor, I think that plays a major part. And obviously we've had guys in and out of lineups, but when they can hone in on the game plan as well as the personnel, understanding, KYP, who you're guarding, how we're guarding them, we've touched on that a ton more since the break. But our guys are doing a great job of making sure they're getting into the basketball, but also not allowing the complete blow-by. Our bigs are at the rim protecting, rotations are cleaner, and then finishing possessions off is what we've constantly talked about. How do we continue to rebound the basketball so we can finish possessions to get out on the break?
Coach, Harden adds a new wrinkle with the playmaking to this matchup, but how big is this game? Looking for a 5-game winning streak, first in the NBA in point differential since February 7th, and or first in defense, top 5 in point differential. And what does this mean in the locker room to these guys with the playoff history on national TV, just getting a moment like this on top of the Minnesota win to just continue to make a statement of where this team's at?
Yeah, this group has done a great job of just, talking about taking it one game at a time. And for tonight, it's just been about how do we take care of home. And I know there's history and whatnot, but, they've beaten us twice this year. And so our ability to just focus on tonight, taking care of home, playing in front of our home crowd, that's important. And I think the guys are taking it as such. And obviously the things with the playoff run and the standings, all those things are there. But the reality is, you just take care of tonight, and that's all you can do.
Jaylen talked earlier about kind of the renewed sense of joy that's around this team. You're 7-3 since the All-Star break. How important is a simple intangible like happiness, like for this group, especially at this point in the season?
This is a special group that thrives on that. I think there's a level of focus and seriousness to what we're doing, but I think there's a constant reminder every day that you got to enjoy this game because it is still a game. And this is a group that does thrive on that. The laughter, the banter, the joking, and then we can be serious when we touch that floor. But then they've got to make sure we're doing it together. And you can just see there's a sense of that within the group, and that goes a long way with a young group like this.
Jamal, when you look back on the playoff series 2 years ago, what sticks out?
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, from game 1 to game 7, there was always something different. Obviously, the first round we didn't have Dell, and guys were going in and out of lineup, and then they make some adjustments. They start Morris twin when Jared Allen goes down, and so a lot of it was just the small runs within the game. I think that's what playoff basketball is: the adjustments, the runs within the game, and how do you combat them. I think it was a great series to play against them. It was a great learning experience for our guys to know exactly what they need to do, how they can adjust, and how you can stay poised in a moment. But for the most part, it was overall just a great experience for these guys to be able to move forward and know it's a different team than they had then. So we just got to be able to adjust to what they're doing now.
Coach, to change the subject rather drastically, did you see any of the Miami-Washington game last night, highlights or anything? And if so, what did you think?
I mean, another NBA record is set. I think it's a milestone that it's going to be tough to top. But I think for Bam, congratulations to him for being able to do that. I think I saw the first quarter when he had 31. I think that was, the most impressive part, him coming out scoring 31 in that first quarter. And then after that, I think it became a free throw battle and, them trying to get it out of his hands. But I said this before, I really think it is a special thing for Spo to be able to keep him out there and to look for him to make sure that he accomplished that, because that's, now once in a lifetime in that situation. But for your coach to have that trust in you and to want to have you succeed is big, and that says a lot about their relationship and who they are and what they've built over time.
Thanks, Coach Rose.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Hello. Welcome back. Let me turn that off. There we go. Jake Chapman, Chrissy Birdsall here with you. That was Magic head coach Jamal Mosley. We're getting set for the Cavaliers tonight. Magic with a home back-to-back. We'll see Washington tomorrow, and then back out on the NBA road. Miami Saturday and Atlanta Monday, and that's as far as I got. I got the next 4, and it's as
like
good
Mosley, you're taking it one day at a time.
I'm taking it one day at a time, one game at a time. This time of year, that's about all you can do. Jake Chapman, Chrissy Birdsall. We're going to have the radio broadcast here for you, the audio broadcast, beginning at 7 o'clock, right? 7:30 for the tip, so 7 o'clock pregame. We'll be on FM 104.5 this evening, and again for the next 2 games with the UCF basketball in the Big 12 tournament, taking our spot on our normal flagship station. So we'll slide down to our sister station, FM 104.5. You can always stream us if you're having trouble finding us on the Orlando Magic app, the iHeartRadio app, outside of the listening area on Sirius XM, or on NBA League Pass audio as well. Chrissy's quote book from Coach Mosley's pregame media presser. Anything jump out at you, Chrissy?
I think one thing I've heard pretty consistently, and this goes back maybe to the previous homestand, we've talked about it a little bit, is just how well Paolo Banchero's been playing post-All-Star break. And not only on the offensive side, because we've seen what he's been able to do on offense, just the numbers that he's putting up, whether it's the scoring, the rebounding, the assists, his shooting percentages, but it's that defensive side, the stuff that doesn't always show up on the box score. You heard Mosley say it there. He's taking on those tough challenges. He's guarding the toughest offensive player on the other side. Wendell Carter Jr. was giving him his flowers, saying when one of the media guys asked what has been the difference with that defense, and he said it was Paolo Banchero and just how much he's been able to lock in and lock down. I think that's going to be really important for this team going forward, because we've talked about those injuries, especially to some of those defensive players, but now you have somebody like Paolo Banchero who's taking a huge step up, setting the tone for everybody else, guards, bigs included. I think that's going to be a huge key going forward.
Yeah, the defense obviously has been great over the last 14 games. You've got the top defense in the league. The individual defensive rating numbers leap off the page at you as well. It tells you how important Jaylen is to our defense. 97.6 defensive rating. I mean, that means we're holding teams while he's on the floor essentially under 100 points a game, because it's 97.6 points per 100 possessions, and we play right about 100 possessions per game. Tristan is at 98.4, both just eye-popping numbers. But then Desmond Bane, Wendell, and Paolo are all under 104 defensive rating as well. And so Paolo's been in the middle of that. I think it's a really good point to make sure we continue making, because anecdotally, we watched the Clippers game where Paolo was defending Kawhi. We've seen Paolo check LeBron. We've seen Paolo check Anthony Edwards. Tonight, it's going to be a little bit different matchup because Paolo's 6'10", and so asking him to stay in front of Donovan Mitchell and James Harden might be a bit different, but he's going to get his cracks at him to be sure. And it feels like every night in this league, you've got a jumbo guard or wing with the ball in their hands, and until Franz comes back, to have Paolo taking those assignments, that's huge. And I think, look, you look across the board, I think Tristan sliding into the starting lineup has been a positive development. I think adding Jevon Carter has been huge. He's a guy who can heat you up, who can defend you 94 feet. I think that's played a role. I think as you've gotten healthy, or at the very least had Jaylen night in and night out, and felt like you've had him for a sustained stretch, boy, it's amazing what stability as far as the rotations can do. It can mean to you defensively, because all of a sudden you're looking around and it's not a question night in and night out who's coming in at what point. Everybody can sort of settle in as far as the rotations go, and I think guys now know what's expected from them. And when you have roles within the starting lineup and roles changing night to night, and guys like Noah sliding in and out, for instance, or Anthony Black in and out of the rotation. I just think it's really difficult to embrace your role when it changes night to night. And finally, you've felt like you've had some stability as far as the rotations go, and I think you're seeing the results of that.
I do want to shout out Tristan Da Silva because I did see some YouTube comments right before Mosley came on just talking about how he's been stepping up. The last 5 or 6 games, although he's cooled off from the 3 a little bit, he's been putting up his best numbers since November, at least when it comes to those 3 balls, and that's what he's good. He's a good 3-ball guy, and he's a good defenseman. So those are 2 keys for him. He's going to have what?
It just sounded funny.
He's going to have to keep stepping up.
Defender.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in hockey mode. No, and those numbers over the last 14 games for him, 44% from three-point range. And then we saw the other night, Chrissy, to your point, I think he's getting more comfortable offensively. He's doing a little bit more than just spacing the floor. Defensively, he's definitely been locked in. The other night, had 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, getting more comfortable. He's never going to be Franz Wagner. There are very few who are Franz.
Right.
But for Tristan, if he steps up defensively and then if he knocks down shots from the perimeter, everything else is kind of gravy from there. So he has been awesome. I think they found something with him in the starting lineup. And now you start to think about, okay, Franz eventually is going to take his spot. When AB does get healthy, does it make sense if Franz isn't back yet at that point? Does it make sense to let AB slide into that bench role, put the ball in his hands a little bit next to Jevon Carter, and let Tristan kind of continue, I think, fill in that void within the starting lineup. A lot of options for Jamal Mosley. And as we said, and as we've been saying all year, when Franz comes back, when AB comes back, it might be clunky for a couple of games. Like, you always have to give yourself time to adjust to shakeups in chemistry. But the Magic have rolled with the punches all year, and I think the stability we've seen the last couple of weeks starting to show itself in those defensive numbers, and now actually on the offensive end as well, you're starting to make a little headway. Good stuff out of you, Chrissy. Thank you. Appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow as we'll get set for the Washington Wizards tonight. A showdown with the Cavaliers, Magic, Cavs. You can listen to us at 7 o'clock on FM 104.5. You can stream us on the Orlando Magic app, the iHeartRadio app outside of the listening area, SiriusXM, NBA League Pass audio as well. We're going to send you down to the floor for now. We'll be back tomorrow. Till then, go Magic.
Caribbean honey dip, whipping out Avis, no condiments, from Barranquilla, no argument, she going hard like a guy, don't care what they say, hella fight, no. I'm chilling with babe with my eyes closed, got the champagne with my blindfolds. I'm just flat in Miami, shopping and tripping with Moochie the family. Dry top when I dry down, acting hella savage like I'm Randy. I'm on 1,000, living my life like I don't get no hoots about plan B's. My life something like a Tahoe, yours something like a Camry, yeah.
Give the people what they want, cause I got it. I ain't lying. Locked in, I do it just for profit. I ain't lying. Love it how I break it down just like that. I ain't lying. Love it how I run the town just like that. I ain't lying. Love it how I break it down just like that. I ain't lying. Love it how I run the town just like that. I ain't lying. Who said they could top me? Step in the place, I steal the show. Said they had been checking for me, ain't never seen my.
What's up, guys, and welcome to Courtside Countdown presented by Hard Rock Beck. We are back at the Kia Center. Kendra Douglas Savage says, and we're going to get you ready for today's game. Now, remember, you can watch the game on FanDuel Sports Network and also on ESPN as well. Tip-off for tonight's game is at 7:30 with the pregame show and the team getting back together at 7 o'clock, so you don't want to miss it. But we're going to get you ready for this game. Dan, I mean, for starters, did you miss us?
I did, not being on that road trip, but it was an exciting one nonetheless, with a couple of big victories, historic victories when you look at the point totals. So hoping all that momentum carries back over to the Kia Center for a special one here tonight.
I know. The Magic on a 4-game win streak now, and it's a big one. It's the first time they've been on a 4-game win streak this season, and that's important for this team. Now, I want to make sure I get to all of your comments. I see you guys are commenting already. Jake Kerr said, I said, are you ready? We are ready. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's go Magic. Magic fans, let's make some noise for Orlando Magic cheer. Love that. Buck Nation talking about he's with us. Oh, Shalisa said, happy winning Wednesday.
I like that.
Hope we get some midweek Magic today with a win. Love that. Love that. So, yes, finally a 4-game win streak for the Orlando Magic. But let's talk about how we got here with that game against Milwaukee just a couple days ago. It was the second night of a back-to-back for the Orlando Magic in this one. But, Dan, no Giannis, no big three. You don't have Kuzma. You don't have a lot of their guys that they normally use. Still, Orlando would grab that win 130-91, mark the first time in history that the Magic have won consecutive road games by 20 or more points. The Magic shot 56% from the field. They were 14 of 33 from three-point range. This is the one I love. They dished out 31 assists. That's how we love to see this team continue to facilitate in action. Got that move right there. Jaylen Suggs through the legs to Paolo Banchero. Your final score for this one, I mean, what stands out to you about what you love and what you saw from Sunday at the Bucks?
Yeah, when you're playing a team like this on the second night of a back-to-back, at times it can be hard for teams to get up for that. You know, Giannis is not on the court across from you. You can play down to the competition a little bit.
Yep.
But I think that it helped that the Magic played the Bucks without Giannis recently. The Bucks had gotten the best of them in splitting that series here at Kia Center, and the Magic took it seriously from the jump.
Yeah.
So didn't play with their food at all in this one. Just went out and asserted dominance, and I love that about what the Magic did there in Milwaukee on the second night of a back-to-back.
I thought it was interesting because the Bucks and the Magic have not seen Giannis at all this season. They didn't see them the 2 times that they were here. They didn't get to see them in Milwaukee. So I did kind of think, I wonder what it's going to be like with this team, knowing that he is there. He is possibly available, but not playing on the second night of a back-to-back. Still getting the job done. I want to talk about the assists, though. The team facilitating, getting everyone involved. That's the kind of Magic basketball you want to see from this group.
Yeah, and it's the kind of basketball that Magic head coach Jamal Mosley preaches, which is sharing it, doing things by committee. And really, the paramount part of it is getting into the paint and spray out passes, moving the basketball. And so I thought they executed that with extreme precision on the entire road trip, both in Minnesota against a top-notch defensive powerhouse in the West, and then again against Milwaukee less than or about 24 hours later. So really impressive stretch of basketball that the Magic are on right now. And it's getting to hit their stride, even though they're not even at full strength.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that one. A couple comments that I see, of course, everyone talking about Bam Adebayo getting the 83. Someone said Powell's going for 84 tonight. I love that. I love the energy on that one. Oh, then someone countered and said, no, Powell's going for 102. I love that, too.
Well, we'll see the Wizards tomorrow night on a second night of a back-to-back.
Yes.
So there'll be opportunity to, maybe Wendell will do it as well.
Who knows? Someone asked me if I was going to be in ATL for that game. That game is going to be nationally televised. We will not be there for that game. So sorry. It's their birthday. So sorry, Knowles86. Happy birthday. I'm so sorry we won't be able to be there for you. Someone also asks, how are our injured players? So I want you to give us a little recap of what happened. We just got an update on Franz Wagner and Anthony Black. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Anthony Black's going to be out a little bit of time. They're going to reevaluate him and put him some procedure we saw on that play on the road. Went up to the basket, kind of got grabbed from behind, tweaked a oblique, back muscle. So hopefully he won't be out too long. And Franz Wagner steadily making progress. Not too much to update from beyond there, but is upping his, on-court presence a little bit after shoot-around this morning. Got to see him do a little bit of stuff. So hopefully that's all trending into the right direction for the Magic, and we get those guys back soon, because as we get set for the playoff push, going to need all hands on deck, especially where the Magic are falling seeding-wise.
I love that you mentioned all hands on deck. One of the comments says, the quote from Paolo about missing the All-Star game was awesome to see. Love to see his humbleness and accountability. Let's talk about Paolo Banchero and his performance in Milwaukee, because since the All-Star break, he has literally dominated since coming back from that. Finished the night with 33 points. 26 of those 33 points came in the first half. Now, since the All-Star break, this was kind of, I think, what Coach Mosley might have been talking about. Paolo joins 4 other top players averaging at least 25 points per game and shooting 50% or better from that field. A couple of the guys on that list is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Kevin Durant. Those are great company to be in. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Paolo's been aggressive, assertive, and when you look at that piece that you were talking about, I think just the accountability level, the standard that he holds himself to is as high as anyone. And we've seen him in a number of these performances since the All-Star break be impressive. This one amongst it, 33 points while shooting 75% from the field.
Crazy work.
You take that any night of the week.
I know, you really will from Paolo Banchero. And I loved when I did the interview with him. I said, what's kind of been going for you? He's like, I'm just hooping. I'm just out here hooping. And that's the thing. I think you're seeing this team having fun. You're seeing this team just hooping, just coming out there. We all have seen what has been said about Paolo Banchero. And I'm going to say, I think any publicity is good publicity, because here's the thing. If you are not being talked about and if you are not being recognized, that means that you are not relevant. And Paolo Banchero is relevant right now.
Yeah, no question about it. And he's doing it on both ends. What's really impressed me is the way he's elevated his defensive game. We all know the offensive capabilities that Paolo's had. We've seen it on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
If you haven't been paying attention. I mean, this guy in Game 7 of a series against this very team took over the first half and went toe-to-toe with Donovan Mitchell. We saw him put up impressive playoff performances against the Celtics with their two-headed monster in the playoffs last year. So not worried about Paolo's offensive game, even when he was working his way back. We've all seen it come back. Him playing at an Eastern Conference Player of the Month level last month. And on top of that, though, his defense, taking on the challenge of guarding a Kawhi Leonard. Wanting to. And challenging, telling his coach, hey, I'm up for it. And him adhering to that. When your best player takes on that challenge, the rest of the team falls in line. And that's why it's no surprise to me that over the last 10 games, the Orlando Magic have the #1 defensive rating in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's because it starts with P5 setting the tone, and then having other guys like Jaylen Suggs, who's the head of the snake, on-ball attack offender, fall in line alongside him.
I completely agree. You're seeing Paolo Banchero. He's been working a lot with God Shamgar, the assistant coach for the Orlando Magic. A lot of the guys have recently, too. And I know Anthony Black, he spent his summer working with Shamgar, which clearly you can see the level of improvement from Anthony Black. I want to get to some of your comments before we start talking about Jaylen Suggs and Desmond Bane, because those are also two guys that had hooping. They're just hooping. They're just hooping. Someone said, I can't believe Jevon Carter has been such a key piece to this turnaround. I can. And here's why. Is it because he's a Virgo? Maybe. But it's also because
dropping a teaser there.
I'm dropping a teaser there. But I think it's because of when you look at the teams he's played with. He played with a very successful Milwaukee squad when he was there. That alone, I think, teaches you a lot. And then, two, just his growth and how he is as a player. You talk to him and he tells you he's always been about this no-nonsense mentality since he was young. So I'm not surprised to see the turnaround this Magic team has had with him in the mix.
No, I mean, he's been a guy the Magic have liked since his draft workout. And his NBA journey has taken him to good teams like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Was on a championship caliber team in Phoenix.
Yes.
And he is just a guy who's all about basketball. And I think it's no coincidence that this Magic team has elevated their defensive acumen since he's taken a bigger role with this Magic team, because he's a great point of attack, on-ball defender.
Yeah.
Will pick up teams, 94 feet. The second they're touching the basketball, he's in their face, guarding it, and, willing to take the three-point shot. It's not always about whether or not the shot goes in. It's about a willingness to take a shot when it's open, make the defense be honest, and we've seen him hit shots in big moments. I think Paolo, a number of the guys like playing alongside him because you know what he's all about. You know he's going to make the right play, and willing to get in his teammates' faces if they don't do things as a sign. A true veteran presence for the Magic team.
And he's also knocked down some big shots.
Yeah.
You got to think about how he played against Phoenix and how he's been playing as of late. He's helped this Magic squad out, turn around. Real quick, Lewis is in the building. He's in section 108. So I love this, Lewis.
Hi.
Glad that you are here in section 108 watching and listening to us for today. Let's see. Let's go. 5-game win streak tonight for the Orlando Magic. Love that. Joanne said, I'm sending positive vibes to Franz and AB. We all are.
We need
sending
those vibes.
We need those vibes.
Healing crystals will take it all.
Everything. And speaking of positive vibes, let's talk about Desmond Bane. He's brought a lot of positive vibes to this Orlando Magic squad. Coming off a great performance for him. And 18 points, 9 assists. We talked about those assists from the Magic team. He had 9 of them and 4 steals for the Orlando Magic. This is a guy, too, that when you talk about what he's able to do, of course, you came in here and you're like, you're here to shoot threes. But, boy, are we wrong. This man has literally found himself doing it all for this team.
No, he is a hooper's hooper.
Yeah.
Really showcased himself as a 3-level scorer, whether it be shooting from the outside when teams decide to run him off, attacking the rack, finishing at the rim with a plethora of finishing moves. And when the teams take that away as well, perfectly fine knocking down the mid-range. So, and then you send him to the free throw line, that guy's not going to miss.
No.
True 3-level scorers can kill teams in a number of ways, and the Magic are really benefiting from his addition. I think he kept this team afloat when they were going through some tough times, and now they're seeing the benefit when they're coming back closer to full strength. Guys are playing at a high level around him. Where the ceiling of this team could be with Desmond Bane as a key piece of it. Really impressed with Desmond all season long. You could go on and on about him.
You really could. 18 points for him, like I mentioned, 9 assists, 5 rebounds in that game against the Bucks on Sunday. So just continuing to be effective and efficient for the Orlando Magic. Someone real quick said, hey, why are we not talking about Paolo's efficiency, how it's improved? We are. We're talking about it right now. We've said after the All-Star break, he has been on a tear as of late. And we're going to continue to talk about Paolo Banchero and what he's been able to do, especially going against a Cleveland team like that. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that matchup later on. But don't you worry.
And coming off a performance like he did, we showed the numbers, 37 points against the Bucks.
Yeah.
And at the same time, shooting 75% from the field. Pretty dang efficient.
He sure is. Lots of fans saying, let's go Magic, play the song tonight. I want to hear the song tonight.
Yes.
It was funny. Terrence Ross, he was on the road trip with us. He posted something and he had the song playing. And I think that was the first time we really have heard it because we don't really get to hear it that much on the road.
That's true.
While we're here. So I was like, we are playing the song out here. So I miss it. I'm going to say I miss it. All right, let's talk about Jaylen Suggs, how he had his good performance as well, too. Let me say something. Jaylen Suggs at home, he owns the state of Minnesota. He owns it. Coming into Milwaukee, it seemed like this was a good opportunity for him to be a little settled in, just because you get all the nerves and the jitters playing in front of your home squad. So against the Bucks in Milwaukee, that's where he had his performance. That's where he had a great game. 20 points for him. Really bringing a spark for this team starting. What did you like about what you saw from Jaylen in Milwaukee?
Yeah, just his willingness to take the shots when he was open, be assertive, hit a few backbreakers for the Bucks when they were trying to make runs. It seemed like he quickly silenced them.
Yeah.
His ability to put on-ball pressure, be efficient nonetheless. That's 77.8% shooting from the field, putting up 20 points. Really coming back into form now that he's had some extended time on the court for the Magic. So love what I'm seeing out of Jaylen Suggs. Talked to him during Shootaround today.
Nice.
And what I liked about him is he didn't hide from the fact that this is a big test tonight.
Yeah.
Said, this is a team that not only we see tonight, but could see down the line as well as they have in the past. They're not ducking from anyone, as he put it.
Love
He's
that.
up for that. He wants to see the Kia Center rocking because they've built a lot of momentum on the road, and he wants this place to feel a part of that momentum that they're building heading into the playoffs. So he wants this place to be rocking, and I'm sure he's going to do some things to get them going tonight.
1,000%. Why not? I mean, keep the momentum going. 4-game win streak. You're also in the history books too with this team. Like, you might as well keep it going. And since you mentioned shoot-around today, let's listen to see what the guys had to say at shoot-around today.
Look at the last 10 games. Your team has the #1 defensive rating in the NBA over that span. What have they done? What areas have changed or elevated to help fall into that space?
I think our guards have done a great job of getting into the basketball, trying to keep teams out of the paint, doing a great job there. And then our bigs are doing a great job when they're able to switch, keeping the ball in front. That's been the biggest key. But then the other side of it is us being able to rebound the basketball. We've had a few games where we have given up some offensive rebounds, but for the most part, limiting teams on the offensive glass has been key for us.
Look back at the course of the last 10 games, your group has the #1 defensive rating in the NBA. What have you done over that span to improve on that end of the floor?
Honestly, man, I give a lot of credit to just everyone's attention to detail. I think a big part of that is Paolo. Paolo has taken on that challenge of guarding the best wings or forwards of the other team that we're playing against. And like I said before, that unlocks another dimension of this team that, when he's locked in on that side of the ball, man, we are very deadly, as you've seen. We've been #1 in defense over the last 10. So, he's been, ever since All-Star break, on both sides of the ball, he's been locked in. So with him playing at the level he's playing at, it makes it very easy for us to, play well, win games.
I think intention and communication have been the two biggest keys. I think under intention falls your energy and your effort, night in and night out. I said you got to make the conscious decision to go play defense because it's not fun, it's physical, and it asks a lot of your body and mind to stay engaged on that end. So I think everyone's done a great job. I think our talk has been really good, and especially once we get in a moment, and the game starts, it's something that we're all holding each other accountable to. So.
We welcome you back to Courtside Countdown presented by Hard Rock Bet. Kendra Douglas Savage says, thank you guys for joining us today. You just heard the guys talk at Shoot-Around, talking about the defense, how important that is for this Magic squad, which helps us segue into tonight's game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Defense is going to be the #1. It always is, but it's going to be the #1 priority going against this team.
Yeah, no question about it. They have one of the most dynamic backcourts in the NBA now. After making a deadline deal, acquiring James Harden, pairing him with Donovan Mitchell elevates that whole backcourt. It allows you, when you have substitutions, guys going to the bench, to have a true playmaker on the court at all times. And that's why when you look at the number of points they're putting up per game, their ability to shoot from the field, they can do it in a number of different ways to hurt you, and James Harden only elevates that.
He sure does. I want to get to some comments, though, before we get to talking about Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, because you're right, those two coming together now is insane in the NBA. So some of the comments that I'm seeing, still so happy we traded for Desmond Bane. This is my favorite one. Who y'all got winning season 50 of Survivor?
I can't tell you.
Even remember that show was I forgot that show is still on. Season 50?
I want to know who they think's going to win.
Who do you think is going to win season 50
then
of
maybe
Survivor?
I'll lock in.
I know, right? You tell us who we should lock in on, and we might continue to watch. We'll see what happens on that one. Are we talking about Paolo bringing the defense and rebounding? Yes, we are. We're still talking about him. We're going to continue to talk about him. Someone said they missed the Human Torch. Terrence Ross did such a good job on the broadcast this past weekend. So happy for him. He's going to be joining us on another broadcast. I don't want to give it away. Hopefully Magic fans can think about which broadcast he's going to be joining us on.
Look for the T. Ross ties. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, look for the T. Ross ties. Someone said, good evening, Kendra and Dan. And then another person says, Got to slow down Spider and Harden. So let's go ahead and kick that off. Well, let's look at the Eastern Conference standings before we talk about James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, because when you look at the Eastern Conference standings right now, we are in 7th. Look, but we hold the tiebreaker over the Miami Heat. The Magic just got to continue to do their job and moving forward. But I will say that there's been some hiccups. Detroit, they were kind of on a little bit of a losing patch for a second as well too. So this is a good opportunity for the Magic to continue to keep going up.
Yeah, look, a win tonight and you could jump up all the way to 5th.
Yeah.
It's certainly possible. So a very tight Eastern Conference race. And that a win tonight would also help pull the Cavaliers closer. You know, you're 3.5 games away from them right now. You could cut that to 2.5 with a win tonight. So hopefully the Orlando Magic can do that.
Yeah.
They'll have an opportunity against the Cavs. They know what this team's all about, having played a playoff series against them. But the addition of James Harden adds an additional wrinkle. But the true story of who the Cleveland Cavaliers are remains the same. So the Magic are going to be locked into the game plan tonight. Another one of those big know your personnel.
Yeah.
Because guys like Sam Merrill, etc., you don't want to leave too much because you get into trouble.
You sure do. Let's talk about Donovan Mitchell, though, and what he's been able to do for this Cavs squad so far this season. I mean, he's having a career high this season, averaging 28 points per game, ranked 6th in the NBA this season in points per game, and has made 194 three-pointers this season, which is 7th most made threes in the NBA on the year. How do you slow him down?
Yeah, it's really hard to slow Donovan Mitchell down. A lot of teams have tried. Few have succeeded. What he does exceptionally well is he is a closer.
Yeah.
When you look at the top scorers in the NBA, not only is he among them, but he is the best second-half scorer in the NBA, among the best fourth-quarter scorers in the NBA, trailing only Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yep.
You look at those numbers, averaging close to 30 points a game, nearly 6 assists, nearly 5 rebounds, all while shooting close to 50% from the field. The Magic have felt firsthand the type of player that Donovan Mitchell is. Going to have to focus in on slowing him down by just getting him out of rhythm, guarding him as soon as he touches the ball, and try to get the ball out of his hands and make somebody else beat you.
We got Donovan Mitchell warming up right behind us, too, so hopefully he doesn't hear everything you're saying as the Magic look to slow him down. You got on the other side James Harden, too. Those two have just been impeccable together. Both Mitchell and now James Harden have become probably the best backcourt in the league right now. When you look at their numbers, their pull-up threes made, I'm just talking about that. In 2nd in the league with 124. Mitchell is at 109. That's 6th in the league. So Harden is 4th in the league in assists per game. So he's doing a great job of being effective, being efficient, getting everyone involved. And I think that says a lot. 9th player in the league to reach 29,000 career points. James Harden, oh my gosh. What do you say about those two and how they perform?
Yeah, I mean, they're two, future Hall of Famers, top 75 players in the NBA. And what it really gives them is just versatility. You know, you could do everything right on the defensive end, guard them efficiently.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they can come up with the last-second play in the shot clock that can really, change the whole possession. So they have guys who are capable of scoring in a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
Mitchell's a 3-level scorer. Harden's a 3-level scorer. Both can play breaks down, gets out of structure. Both guys could bail you out. So Harden, averaging close to 19.3 points per game since joining the Cavaliers 11 games ago, and at the same time shooting close to 15% from the field. And, what we're seeing with him, assist numbers high.
Yeah, it is. And they've just been doing so well as a unit. But it's the third quarter where this Cavs squad has really shined. And that's going to be something for this Magic squad to think about when they go into the half, they come out, back out. Can't start slow as we get a Turner's turn. I like this tie. This is clean. All right, JT, we got two of the best guys. You got Donovan Mitchell and James Harden in here. What have you noticed about how they performed that the Magic really need to take note of?
Well, I think what James Harden gives them is a guy that not only is a great scorer, but he's kind of slowed them down. They're a little bit more deliberate. And, in the past, you could say, all right, no Darius Garland, we're going to run double teams at Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
That's a little harder now with James Harden out there. So Offensively, I think this is a team that's on the rise, the Cleveland Cavaliers. You talk to people around them, they worry defensively. Will they struggle? So that could be interesting. I think for us tonight, we really got to get out in transition.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to play against their half-court defense with Mobley in there.
We sure don't. My random question to you is, did you know that Survivor was on season 50?
I did not. Now, are there 2 seasons every year or 3 seasons a year?
I have no idea how it works.
It's been going on for 50 years. Trust me, that would be like real life experience for me. That would be history for you, Kendra and Dan, but that would be like real life for me.
I don't know. So we have some Magic fans who were asking us who we were going to vote for Survivor. We had no idea that it was on season 50. Yeah.
Well, now aren't there Survivor All-Stars and everything like that? Ah, okay. All right.
Okay, well, we'll let you go. We'll let you go because I think you gave us a good amount of energy of your time. Plus, I can't afford you to stay on this show.
Go Magic!
All right, Dan, let's get to your storylines for today's game. What do you got for us?
All right, so number one, and this is most important, stay locked in defensively.
Okay.
Where has this team made its biggest mark since the All-Star break? It's because they're number one in defense on that end of the floor. And when you're looking across the way and you see James Harden, you see Donovan Mitchell, that's going to be paramount. So that's where it all starts tonight. Next, guard the three-point line. For this Magic team, this Cavs team puts up a lot of threes. They're extremely efficient at them, top 10 in both. And so the Magic are going to have to do a good job of taking them off the three-point line. On the flip side, the Cavs struggle guarding the three-point line. So knock down your open triples, take them when they're there. And lastly, I'm following Jaylen Suggs' advice.
Okay.
He told me to make this a Savage Says key.
Love it.
Get the Kia Center rocking. They want to feel the momentum they've built on the road, carry over into this building, make it feel like a playoff-like vibe tonight, and get the whole city of Orlando rocking.
I love that. I love that. Well, hey, the other thing that we're doing here at the Orlando Magic is continuing to honor the women, especially with March being Women's History Month. So I'm excited because you're going to see a lot of sprinkle of things happening here at the Kia Center to honor women for History Month. That'll do it for us on Courtside Countdown presented by Hard Rock Bet. Kendra Douglas, Savage Says, you had some good notes. We want to see the Kia Center rocking. But before we let you go, we have a nice piece to honor women for Women's History Month, especially the Magic women. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you guys later.
When the ball goes up and the lights shine, you see the players. But behind every person on the court is a powerhouse of women driving the game on and off the court forward. In the front office, they are the architects of the roster, helping navigate complex salary caps, scouts, searching for the next generation of icons, data analysts analyzing the numbers, searching for the winning play call, to the marketing mavens building global brands. Their influence isn't just present, it's vital. They aren't just breaking glass ceilings, they're building the entire arena. Leadership, precision, and passion. These professionals prove every day that the future of basketball isn't just about who's on the court, it's about the brilliance of the women leading the organization from the inside out. Because at this level, excellence has no gender, it just has results.
Get up